I'm Alex, and this is my story. Shortly after my husband and I got married, we decided to start our family. And so I went to the doctor, and they checked me out and said, "You're good, go ahead and start trying." She told me that if after 6 months we haven't fallen pregnant, to come back in and they'd take a look and see what's going on. So 6 months came and went, and I went back in and talked to the doctor. They did an ultrasound and found out that I have PCOS. They didn't catch it before because I don't blood test positive for it. But I have all of the other markers that do positively diagnose me with PCOS. So my doctor told us it really wasn't that big of a deal, and we could move along with a plan of action as long as my husband got checked and as long as he was good to go. So my husband went and got checked, and we found out that due to a hernia surgery complication, he actually has an infertility issue as well. My doctor informed me that unfortunately his office is not equipped to help us, and we would have to go and see an infertility clinic. So we waited the 6 months to get into our infertility doctor, and in that time, we had given up hope. Obviously, we couldn't get pregnant on our own if we're seeing an infertility doctor, so throw your hands up in the air sort of thing. Give up. So we met with the infertility doctor. He ran his own tests on us. He came to the same conclusion and informed us that we had a 2% chance of getting pregnant on our own, and that the only way that we could successfully become pregnant is with intervention and help. So he felt the best plan of action for us would be to do IUI, and intrauterine insemination, and so that's what we did. We did 4 rounds of IUI, and in those 4 rounds of IUI, I did become pregnant. I ended up having 2 miscarriages and 1 ectopic pregnancy. My ectopic pregnancy was treated with methotrexate. It was with the 4th IUI procedure that our infertility doctor decided that this course of action that we've been doing is just not working, and that our best bet right now would be to do IVF. He informed us that I now had a less than 1% chance of being pregnant in my uterus, and a 25% chance of having another ectopic pregnancy. IVF is really expensive, so we put a pause on moving forward and decided to just take care of ourselves in the meantime. I'd been with Young Living for many years before this, but this time around, we decided to, let's do NingXia. We took NingXia every day. I started to take Super B. I started to take Super C. I started to take Inner Defense when I wasn't feeling great. And then I decided to try out Progesteron Plus. I had already cut out gluten to help with my PCOS, and I figured why not give Progesteron Plus a try too. I was not diligent with it at all. I used it every now and then, not too often. I was super skeptical. My parents ended up coming forward and said that they wanted to help us with IVF. And so we went to the doctor and told them, and we were getting ready to start the hormone treatments for IVF, and I miraculously became pregnant. We got pregnant on our own. But unfortunately, that pregnancy was another ectopic pregnancy. I was again treated with methotrexate, and we had decided that this is just, apparently this is not how we are meant to be parents. That this is just not this is just not how it's meant to be for us. So we decided to focus on our health and to try to refocus on our marriage and just go from there. I had to rebuild my immune system after everything that had happened, and so I started to take Life9 every day to help build my gut health for immune health. And I was very diligent with Ningcha and with Super B and Super C, and I had decided, you know what, let's give Progesterone Plus an actual shot. My doctors wanted me to take birth control to help regulate my PCOS, and I didn't want to do that. I felt like that was counterproductive. So let's try Progesterone Plus, and I became very diligent with it. The first 2 weeks, I was using it once a day. I was using it in the evenings, and then after about 2 weeks, I was using it twice a day, and I was using it every single day. I was very, very diligent, and I had a period that November, and then I had a period that December, and then I had a period that January, and I had never had consecutive periods before. So I thought, this is amazing. Come February, I didn't have a period, and I really didn't feel any period symptoms coming on either. And I waited until I was a day late and decided, doubt it, but why not take a test and see what happens? So I did, and I had never seen 2 darker lines in my life. I ran out of the bathroom and showed my husband, and he thought the test was fake because the lines were so dark. My past positive pregnancy tests, the lines were not nearly that dark, and these were very in-your-face, 2 dark pink lines. And we were ecstatic. I called the doctor that morning because of my 2 previous ectopic pregnancies. I was at a very high risk of having another ectopic pregnancy. So we did blood work that day, and my doctor called me and informed me that my numbers were astronomically high and that he would follow up with blood work in 48 hours to make sure that it's doubling. In 48 hours, my numbers had tripled. At 5 weeks, 6 days, we went in for an ultrasound for confirmation of placement, and they checked and my ovaries were good and they didn't see anything where my fallopian tube should be, so that was huge because that's where my 2 ectopics were in the past. And doctor said, there it is, and right there in my uterus was this little tiny perfect little nugget. And I remember joking with the doctor, like, are you sure it's not a cyst? And he looked at me and chuckled and said, you don't get cysts in your uterus. Congratulated us, said this is a miracle. We're amazed this happened. This is amazing. We'll see you outside. I started crying. My husband was so confused. He's like, why are you crying? This is a good thing. I said, I know, that's why I'm crying. This is amazing. I continued to use Progesterone Plus until I was 14 weeks pregnant. And although my daughter decided to greet the world at 35 weeks and 6 days, she was perfectly healthy. We were very lucky. We had no NICU stays. She passed every test with flying colors. I used Super C and Super B and Ningcha and oils my whole pregnancy. And I have a very healthy little 19-month-old girl, little girl that runs around everywhere like a crazy person. And I attribute it all to Young Living. And to living healthy and to Progesterones Plus, and you know, it's amazing. We've used oils on her since she was born, and sometimes we dilute them down, and sometimes we don't, and it's just amazing. And my husband and I have decided that whenever the time is right, and we do want to have another little one, that yes, I will be using that oil again. No, I'm not using it right now. Not ready for a number 2 yet. But yeah, that's my story. She's my little miracle. And I am thankful for her every day. And I am thankful for these products to be here to help. So there you go. That's my story.